A brass plate was fixed beside the front door of the family home at 42 Denning Street, Drummoyne, with the name Sewans, which stood for in order of birth, Charles Penny, Emily May, William Coop, Arthur Withington, Norman Sherwood, and Sarah Elizabeth, children of Charles Thomas Donnelly and his wife Emma. The second youngest of the Sewans, Norman Sherwood Donnelly, was born on the 21st of March, 1899. After graduating from high school, Norman got a job at the Australian Naval Dockyards in Sydney Harbour. He worked his way up to become a certified ship's engineer servicing coastal ships. In 1924, Norman met, courted and married Mabel Eileen Richardson. Deciding that he wanted to stay closer to home rather than out on the big, wide ocean, he gained an important position as the coordinator of the Maritime Services Dredging Division. The Great Depression had horrific effects on employment, and Norman, as well as thousands of his fellow Australians, found himself out of work in his early 30s. As an older man, Norman would leave notes for people, pearls of wisdom. One seems particularly relevant here. Life is not a matter of holding good cards, but of playing a poor hand well. Thinking carefully about their future, Eileen suggested that they make and sell sponge cakes from the family recipe to tide them over. Depression or not, people will always buy cakes. Norman would go door to door, taking orders and delivering the cakes that Eileen had made, of varying types, shapes and sizes. In every trouble, there is a blessing. In time, they put their minds to taking the cake-making operation a step further and decided to open a specialised cake shop. With big aspirations, Norman believed that there was more needed than to simply open a shop and operate the back of shop in the usual manner. He decided that the crucial something needed was the development of a high-tech cake-mixing machine, specifically for sponge cakes, something which at the time was simply not available at the standard Norman required. He went to Sydney's Mitchell Library and read every book he could find about sponge cakes. If a thing is worth doing, it is worth doing well. He used his engineering skills and made diagrams, designs and drawings. The new machine worked well, and he and Eileen opened the first of their cake shops in Lakemba. This proved to be successful, and they soon found the premises was too small. They found a larger shop in Manly and established another successful cake shop. It was here their only son, Norman Sherwood Donnelly, was born on the 25th of September 1933. Named after his father, he was called Tony to avoid confusion. Norman and Eileen longed for country life, but needed to remain in an urban environment because of their cake-making business. In 1938 they compromised, sold their shop in Manly and moved to Wollongong. The Blue Ribbon Cake Shop came into being at 141 Crown Street. The business became a financial success and validated Eileen and Norman's decision to start up the new cake business in Wollongong. Eileen had a good head for business. She loved entertaining friends and family, but her main priority was assisting her husband in running the very busy cake shop. She was astute with money and was in charge of the finance of the business. Together they worked hard, putting in long hours. A niece remembers hearing them giggling from time to time. They had a lot of laughs in their lives. Eileen passed away tragically on the 21st of July, 1954, at just 50 years of age. For Norman, the love of his life always was, and continued to be, Eileen. Norman continued to run the shop until he retired. Later in life, becoming frail with age, Norman enjoyed going on short walks around Woodlands, the family property. Tony noticed that his father could not walk very far without stopping for breath, and so he installed tree stumps at regular instances around the area where his father liked to walk, so that he could sit a while until he got his breath back. About the only thing to come to us without effort is old age. Norman Sherwood Donnelly passed away quietly in his sleep on the 27th of August 1990, aged 90, surrounded by friends and family. Just short of 1 month later, I was born, the first of what would become 5 great-grandchildren for Norman and Eileen. An important part of my childhood memories are the amazing birthday cakes my grandmother used to make us. Since her passing, I've carried on the tradition. It wasn't until recently that I learnt that cakes are not only a connection with my grandmother, Tony's wife, but also a special connection to my grandfather Tony, an important part of my family history, in a story of creativity, hard work, and ingenuity in the face of adversity.